Okay, let's go ahead and get started. Welcome to my quick presentation on how to recruit, retain, and grow a great Drupal team. My name is Scott Weston, he, him, his, and I am the Senior Director of Drupal Engineering at Bounteous. So what we're going to run through today is a little bit of the reasoning and the why behind building your own Drupal team. Going to look at some considerations and challenges that come along with that, particularly when it comes to staffing, and hopefully offer some solutions for you. And then look at some tips and tricks on finding or building your own Drupal talent. So you need a strong team to create a great digital experience with Drupal. So the question is, do you have the right people today for that team? A great Drupal team is not made up solely of Drupal developers. Let me say that again. A great Drupal team is not solely made up of Drupal developers. You need a team with a diverse skill set and skills in many disciplines in order to be a good Drupal team. From product owners all the way through quality assurance, there are a lot of different roles that will make up your team. And what I've done here is I put together a little graphic about what a team could look like and the roles that could be involved in building or maintaining a digital experience with Drupal. And there are a lot of people on this screen. I've represented each role as a separate person, but a person can have multiple roles on your team, depending on factors like skill sets or budgets or timelines. So, for example, one of your developers may have skills in the DevOps realm, which can bring some efficiencies to the team. Another example is your marketer may wear many hats. They can be the content editor for the site, and they want to be hands-on all through the process. And that marketer may also be responsible for measuring your site's engagement and conversions. So they may be wearing the analytics and insight hat as well. And depending on where your site is in its life cycle, the amount of time each role is utilized will change or evolve. One of the first steps that you can take to figure out where your team is today is to map out the talent you have already and what gaps exist, and look at where your team needs to be in the future. And the key here is to do this assessment role by role. So looking at your current development staff, do you need more developers? Do you need to find an experienced designer that knows how to design for the web and for content management systems? And after you have identified where all those gaps are, you'll need to find people to fill those roles. But how do you go about finding the right people on your team? Well, the first thing to keep in mind is that the team will not be static over time. Not only can the needed roles change depending on whether you're building a site or operating and maintaining it. And the skills required won't be needed at the same frequency as well. For example, when you're building the site for the first time, you may need 4 developers full-time for several months to get the site launched. But then post-launch, you may only need 1 or 2 developers for a few hours per week to do bug fixes or apply Drupal updates and to add small enhancements to the site. So to illustrate this, let's go back to our full team here and see how the roles change depending on where in the life cycle they are. So here we have the full team again, and we're going to transition this into the conceive and build phase. So when we're in the site's conceive and build phase, we can see that the needed roles are focused around supporting the activities that get the site launched, get the project out the door. And there's a lot of work to do in designing and building and launching the new site. For example, the product owner is there to gather the requirements for the site and determine what the site needs to do. And the experience designer crafts the visual and functional experience of the site based off of those requirements. And then you have the technical architect and the developers to plan out and execute the site build. working alongside quality assurance to confirm that the site works as intended. And you have project managers there to keep everything on track, because we all know we need to stay on track. And you have the content editor or content creator to build out the content for the site once it goes live. And once the site is live and it's built, the team needs to operate in a way that supports a ongoing live site. This can include developers to do, again, the bug fixes, minor site enhancements, DevOps to make sure that the site keeps up and running, applying security updates to the servers, content editor to keep the content fresh and up to date, marketing, analytics, insights, SEO, all to understand engagement and conversions and adjust the site accordingly. We still need that project manager to keep the team in motion on a day-to-day basis. And if the site is evolving over time, we'll need the product owner and experienced designer to flesh out those new features and functionality for the site. So this adds another question. Should you build your entire Drupal team in-house, or should you outsource some of it, or maybe even all of it? And there is a spectrum of options available to you. At one end, again, there's the full hire out the team dedicated to building and maintaining the site. And on the other end is outsourcing everything to an agency that has the skills that you need. And the perfect solution for you might be somewhere in the middle. For example, you could go the route of hiring an agency to do the build and then find and train your own people to maintain the site. This will grant you the benefits of having top-notch experts build your site and then letting you operate and maintain what they've built. And this also option is also beneficial because your partner of choice, once they're finished with the site build, they can actually be a great resource in helping you hire and train the talent you need to maintain the site. And they can also serve as a consulting resource in the future when you have future phases of the site being planned out. Your strategy can and likely will shift over time. So your approach to your Drupal project team should reflect that. Even if your long-term desire is to do it all in-house, you can ease into that by going through and evolving your approach over time. Some of our clients bring us in at the start of a build, and they have us create that strong foundation. Then they actually team with us to help them find and train their Drupal talent that will be learning alongside us. And ultimately, they end up taking over the entire project in-house once we're completed with the project. And when deciding to hire for your team, it takes time and effort to sift through resumes, look at portfolios and work samples, and do interviews to find the right person or people to staff on your project. And as many of us probably know, finding or growing good Drupal talent isn't always easy. So I want to take a few minutes that we have left and give you some ideas about how you can find the right Drupal talent for your team, or how you can grow it yourself. The first thing to do is to do exactly what you're doing today. Get involved in the Drupal community. It's a great place to network and find people who can help you reach your goals for your Drupal platform. Next would be to do some networking in other areas where you can find people. Obvious places are like Facebook and Twitter and LinkedIn and other online communities where the talent you're looking for is represented. Other places that might not seem obvious initially would be Drupal meetups and Drupal camps that are going on in your area or virtually nowadays. Or even finding Slack groups that are centered around Drupal, PHP, Symfony, JavaScript. Joining and engaging in these communities may result in finding that person that you're looking for. And if you do go the route of building your own talent, you can really leverage the Drupal community and events like DrupalCon and camps to learn from other people's experience and stories. For me personally, that's how I learn. A lot of what I know about Drupal, I learned at community events. And it's also just a great way to kickstart your Drupal journey. And for some of that journey, you may have to adapt and take a longer road than you initially planned, and that's okay. And there are so many resources online that can help, from amazing guides and tutorials on Drupal.org to Stack Exchange. There are many blogs from amazing Drupalists and agencies, and all of these are great places to shorten up that road. So what makes a group of people into a great team? Well, countless words have been written on this topic, and I do not consider myself an expert in this realm at all. I'll let everyone who has written the words and the articles and the books really serve as the experts that they are about what makes a team great. But I personally consistently see 3 traits exhibited by successful teams that I've had the privilege of working with. So I'm going to share those with you. The first is there is a shared vision for the team's success. Everyone knows what success looks like, and they're marching in that direction. Next would be there's a bias to have a pursuit of the team's success that comes before the individual success or achievement or accolades. And the third, and I would argue the least important on this list, is the ability to do the work at hand. If you have the most talented individual in a specific skill set on your team, but they can't function within that team, your team is not set up for success. So thank you for your time today, and feel free to reach out to me. I have my email and Twitter handle here in the slide. So thank you very much.